Sir, let's see, what's the message? What is the message for this week? Okay. Loyal heart. Fork in the road. Treasure Island. It came in reverse, so we're just gonna see. Give me a second, I'm gonna take my time. Something else. Definitely pertaining to a decision that either you will need to make or you get to make. Connection. In reverse. Try not to be messy, but with the loyal heart. So this is interesting. I was saying in one of the other, I think Scorpio, that I typically, try to keep the messages general because they can show up in so many different ways, right? But this week in particular for the collective, there is this huge, love, matters of the heart, relationship, and the way of relating is really focused here. And while I try to, keep it general, this is feeling like, specifically as it pertains to relationship. Now, that doesn't have to be just romantic, but connection is top of mind. But let me see if I can get more. Because particularly for you, I am still, this has kind of been the overarching thing from you lately of this, what is good for me and versus what I want. And it doesn't need to be either or, but it does seem that the approach that you have been taking has kind of caused that separation where, if this were a Venn diagram, you're not really seeing in the center or those options for it in the center, right? It seems like, looking at it at extreme ends. And so if I'm using the example of relationship, this is still general guidance, but that might be instead of, if you are in some sort of like committed relationship, instead of, and you are desiring more intimacy, you want to have a different type of sex and you want to, have more fun, whatever it might be, instead of like talking to your partner about it, it's kind of like the desire has been placed outside of the relationship. But in this instance, that treasure might be, this came in reverse, right? So that's why I'm getting like, just get the message, girl. That this might be available to you in what already exists. And so there might be, it's not stagnancy, but it's like comfort, it's familiarity. It's like there hasn't been maybe even in this element of new introduced in a while to the point and to the extent where you might find it difficult, or you might feel like this is something that can't take place in that, but making sure that you give it the opportunity to show up for, can it show up for you in this way? Can you have a conversation? Can you incorporate more fun back into the relationship? And doing so together, right? Doing so in collaboration. You can't just, I don't need to go there, but you want to talk to someone before you introduce a new type of behavior. If you have a shift or a change in expectation, if you want to try some things out, right? You don't just like throw it on them. It's like, hey, babe, what do you think about this? I've been wanting to, I've been wanting to get closer to you. I've been wanting to have a little bit more fun with you. I've been wanting to experience you in a different way. Can you have that conversation versus feeling like you have to seek it outside of that? As I'm saying this, this does feel like you could apply this to other areas as well, right? So if this is pertaining to work, really what this is asking us to do is stop working with the assumption that we have to go outside of what is already available to create the experiences to have what we want, right? But, okay, give me a second. It does feel like a pivotal time because of like this decision, right? Because if you, now I'm not saying that I just listen. You're gonna do what you want to do. I am just providing information. So I am not saying like it's one way or the other. You might decide that for you that it cannot be incorporated into what is already there, or you are making the decision to go after the new, but understand that it is your decision. And so it does feel pivotal with this fork in the road of if you get too far down this path, you know, that it would be difficult to turn back. So is this the route that you want to take? Can we get some actions? You got the Four of Swords. Eight of Cups. The High Priestess. Five of Cups. At the bottom of the deck. Give me a second. Four of Swords. Okay, give me a second. Lots of water. And so there might actually be a situation or circumstance that is pushing you into this decision, and you do have to decide, are you ready to put in the labor and the work that will be required in order to restore connection? This feels like, because with the Five of Cups, especially at the bottom, especially with the imagery, because it's a solo in the traditional tarot. Here I see two, and so this is giving me the energy of like kind of collaboration, working on it together, and with some sort of intentional, this is specific, intentional structure around it. So that could be, if this were a relationship where this is applying, like with a mediator or therapy, because it's like this is giving neutral space in order for these things to come up and in order for them to be discussed. This is also just creating the structure and the words around the emotions. But give me a second with that. Because there is a level of accountability that is being here. And that doesn't mean like necessarily, oh, I did something wrong or how I hurt, but just, the simplest thing that I can think of is just like, even as you are processing and as you're discussing this, making sure you are connecting it directly to you. So even if you, your feelings were hurt or some kind of harm was caused, I'm definitely not saying to ignore that, but what I am saying is like, this is literally like, I feel, that made me feel. When this happens, this is, you know, how I respond, right? This is getting clear. On taking it to like a new level or the next level or more intentional, just like re-engaging with emotional intelligence, because you can go to that depth, Cancer, but now you are putting it into operation in order to see if this is going to be reconciliation, if this is going to be a shifting into something new or leaving something behind that is a more reflection of where your heart is and what you need at this time.